Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasishtha Utpatti Prakarana, section 83. Rather, section is 84. And having concluded this allegorical story of Karkati, sage Vasishtha continues to enlighten Rama by giving profound insight into the nature of the world and the reality behind all this world of Maya, illusion. Everyone experiences the world through mind. Unmind yourself, and you unwind all your problems. A simple illustration is there. When you go to sleep, you go beyond mind, not absolutely, but to the extent you can understand, all problems move away when you are in deep sleep. The moment you wake up, you look for your mind. At the moment the mind comes to you, now 3 fingers arise. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. Time, space, causation. Should the souls stay with this type of chitta support, as long as you are limited in bondage, you are dependent upon your chitta, your mind, for your happiness, for your fulfillment, for your peace or whatsoever. But deep within, try to figure out, should it be like this forever? Many will think it was a wonderful blessing, stay on forever. Wake up early in the morning, take tea. Look into the TV, lots of news goes on breaking. Not break your head. And go on blowing candle flames on every birthday. That seems like a very desirable fortune, to be blessed, not to die. But if you handle this, I'm trying to think out how to avoid crude words. If you handle this, you are a dull wit. So now we have to understand, as long as you are dependent upon chitta for your existence, for your experience, for your happiness, You are not really yourself. You are afflicted by what is known as bhava vyadhi, disease of the world process. And this is the source of all diseases. Coming into this topic now, once the pure self assumes the form of the chitta, it becomes refracted through the latter into the form of the world process. To understand that in a simple way, when you go to sleep, out of your mind emerges a limited mind. And through that limited mind, now you are being refracted. Your consciousness flows through a limited mind, not your healthy mind, not the awakened mind, but a limited mind. Then your consciousness has become refracted, just like the sun gets refracted through clouds. So all you are experiencing in your dream are refractions of what you are, consciousness. If you can handle that, then bring it in a broad way. All that you are experiencing in this world is through your mind. And what is being refracted through your mind? Pure consciousness. And is the mind something different from pure consciousness? No. Maya is not simple to understand. You can't put two and two together. Just like out of your own mind, when you go to dream, comes a small little mind. And that mind becomes the basis of your entire dream experience. When you wake up, that limited mind never existed. The world never existed. So while we describe Brahman being refracted through the mind, when you attain enlightenment, then you realize there was no mind to begin with. And then you may say, but then why was I in bondage? If you are asking that, you are not liberated. You are still holding on. If you wake up, then you don't question, why was I in Alaska? It's a big distance between Florida and Alaska. And your dream, it was so easy. When you wake up, you're not asking questions. O Rama, I will tell you the story of the sons of Indu. Interesting story called Aindavopakhyan. The story of sons of King Indu. Indu literally means moon, but here is a name of a great king in a storyline. Vasishtha says, the stories, illustrations, parables, and poetic images that are used in the scriptures, like lustrous beams of moonlight to dispel the darkness of ignorance. See, in very few words, you have given the purpose of scriptures and the art involved in teaching, giving the wisdom to people. And what does it imply? Sages create mystic stories. And when they see you are getting bored with stories, they give you illustrations. And To change the mood, they give you parables. And they feel that your heart is not with it, then they start poetic verses. So, the divine teaching is brought to you from in many aspected manner. It's not just mathematics. It's not mathematics. It's art. It's melody. It's dance. It's all that you can think of that makes the life rich. Now, with that in view, listen to the story and enjoy the flavor of the story. Shri Vasishtha continued, O Rama, once upon a time, I had asked divine Brahma, the creator, about the mystery of creation. He told me the following story. Even this beginning statement is a story. You don't talk to God, and God doesn't have time to explain to you. Brahma said, just as whirlpools arise in the ocean, so worlds arise in the ocean of the mind. So you look at the ocean seems vast, etc., without much trouble, but lots of whirlpools are going on with the ocean. And every whirlpool has its story to tell. And there are lots of waves in the ocean. And every wave has its own story, because it has its mama waves, it has papa waves, there's brother waves, sister waves, and all types of waves. And every wave is busy entertaining other waves. The goal is to say goodbye, wave goodbye to all waves. Recognize all that is ocean. So Brahma, the creator, is giving that teaching. He tells a story to Vasishtha. It so happened once that I had just awakened from the night of dissolution of the world. In a storyline, let me give you how Brahma is brought in the scriptures. Brahma has only short life. He lives only for 100 years. Then another Brahma arises. Poor Brahma. But the time he experiences is totally different from human beings. A day of Brahma is world system rises to the highest level of its evolutionary process. Night of Brahma, pralaya, all enters into dissolution. With the next day, Brahma creates again the world process. And the world process lasts only for that whole day. And that goes on. It's called normal pralaya. And after his 100th year of his existence, there comes Mahapralaya, great dissolution. But then another Brahma comes forth. And that process goes on. Creation, dissolution, and great dissolution, and all that goes on in the storyline. And people go into too much of mathematics. How long time is left for the creation? But all that is distraction. The simple point to understand, the world you are experiencing, you can view it from 2 points of view. From scientific point of view, this world is always in the process, evolutionary process. And there comes a climax and gets into involution process. And the science goes on giving you some idea in that direction. But you don't have to wait for scientific research. A simple point, the world you are experiencing is based upon your mind and senses. And no two persons experience the same world. And even you don't experience the same world because the mind undergoes various changes. Without going into further details, let me get back to the story. So, Brahma had just awakened from his night of dissolution of the world. All that was trying to explain to you that don't develop the aspiration to become Brahma. You will have a hard time. Constantly busy creating and destroying. Behind the humor, I'm giving you understanding that this is the world of Maya. Brahma's world is based upon your conditioned mind. If you put on blue glass in your eyes, the whole world becomes blue. And you forgot you have put on the glass. And you are asking everybody, this big trouble has come to the world. What should we do? The answer lies very close to you. Your own vision. You have put on the glass there. Similarly, answer to all problems lies very close to you, your mind. You are experiencing the world through your mind. And your brain is not your mind. Brain is a channel, just like an iPhone. I directed my gaze into the vastness of infinity. There was neither darkness nor light. Then with the help of my subtle mind, I began to project the world. But to my amazement, I saw before me 10 creators seated on swans, like reflections of myself in a mirror. Brahma's storyline presents story of Brahma who suddenly encounters a very strange experience. Normally, he should be the only one creating the universe. But one morning he sees 10 Brahmas. Already they have created 10 world systems. And every world system is complete. Each Brahma had already created a world system. In each world, there were stars that twinkled, oceans that surged, rivers that flowed, and sun that shone, and winds that blew, and add up more details. In each world system, there were gods, humans, demons, and all other living beings. If you understand what you are being led to understand is the world is Maya. Just like you enter into dream, And your dream may lead you to another dream. And you can go into another dream. It's not a difficult thing to understand. Imagine you are, in your dream, you are seated in a table and having a nice lunch, and one of your friend is saying, last night I saw you in my dream. I was interested. But, and then you begin to say, oh, I also saw in my dream something else. So already you are in dream. Now, within dream, there is another dream story. And if you can imagine more, it can be endless. The simplified version is given by children's parables called Barber Shop. Dog in the barber shop. Old style barber shop used to have well decorations by mirrors. And one barber shop had set parallel mirror. Just two mirrors, one here, one here. And so happened a dog stole into that shop with the expectation of having something good to eat. But to the surprise of the dog, he sees there is another dog already. He opened his mouth to bark. And as he opened his eyes wider, he saw there was another dog, because reflection within reflection. He put his head backward, and there is another series of dogs. A horrible experience. He opened his teeth, and they are all opening their teeth. He snarls, and all snarl. He barks, and all of them bark. He worries, why did I embark myself into this situation? That's the predicament of every soul. Minds are like mirrors. And mirrors create a lot of illusions. Each world system was thickly populated by living beings. Each dream that you enter into is well populated. And each appeared like a pomegranate fruit containing numerous souls. And in each world system, there were expressions of time, space, and causation. In each world system, even in your dream, you see your room empty without any chair, then therefore you need a chair. There is a causation. Because there is no chair, so you have to find a chair. I'm joking with a little example of and your servant is not bringing the chair. Now you are waiting, waited half an hour, you waited 3 hours in your dream. So from ordinary point of view, you have hardly gone to sleep for 10 minutes. But in your dream, you waited hours and hours. So you can understand how time, space, causation, all these are illusory. But human mind accepts them just like you accept your dream until you wake up. Similarly, first to understand that all that you are experiencing is a transient process. Nothing is going to stay. All you are experiencing is based upon the mind, senses, and behind that you have whole more subtler study, your subtle desires, vasanas, and behind all that, what makes all this possible, all the illusion, is ignorance. So the spiritual movement is meant to remove three great obstacles: mala, gross impurities, anger, greed, hate. All this does not allow your heart to have pure feelings. Human heart is starving for good feeling. But the feeling, instead of good feeling, there is deluded feelings. Just like a deer sees a mirage, and the heart of the deer feels so joyous, found wonderful water. So that type of feeling surges in the hearts of people. Don't be upset. This is just predicament of limitation in life. And that's why there is a need for liberation. If life is pleasant and really real, there is no problem. Scriptures are not needed. Each having its moment, hour, day, month, and year. Brahma says, seeing this, I was confounded. Brahma is not confounded, but this is the way storyline. All giving you in a humorous way. All experiences of the world can be put into www in a mystic website. Who, where, and why. And all three are to be discovered. You have to research it. Who are you? Where are you? Why are you in this? And all this is resolved when there is enlightenment. The entire website is a magical creation. It's not reality. I continued to gaze for a while, and then by my mental will, I drew the sun god of a nearly world system to myself and said, O sun god, adorations to you. Please explain your identity to me. Tell me all about these worlds. How have they been created? This is storyline, creating a story. Brahma sees so many world systems. He wants to know how all this came to exist without him. He is the one who has to create, but without him, already there were 10 world systems. So he drew one of the sun god from one of the world system, because sun god is more prominent. He knows everything. So I asked the sun god, what's this? I have hardly started creation and it's already there. Tell me the mystery. In section 86, this sun god tells the story. Sun god began, O God of gods, in the last world you created, in the valleys of Kailasha mountains, there existed a province known as Swarnajata. There lived a Brahmin known as Indu, who was best among the knowers of Brahman. Indu Brahmana had a loving wife, but he had no children. Desirous of children, both Indu and his wife practiced intense austerities in order to receive the blessings of Lord Shiva. In course of time, Lord Shiva blessed them with 10 sons. That's the story. Indu Brahmana received the blessings of 10 sons. These children became well versed in the Vedas when they were only 7 years old. By this time, their parents passed away, and these children were enlightened. You must realize children are souls. They come in your family. If you have 5 children in your family, one may be enlightened, another may be a music genius, another may be an algebra genius. I'm joking. In other words, no two children are exactly alike. They are souls. One may be in the kindergarten of spirituality, another may be in advanced level of spirituality. Outside, they are just cozy little boys or girls, whatever. But in this story, all the 10 sons were enlightened. But in the beginning stage, enlightened was not absolute enlightenment. They were little steps back, but very close to enlightenment. When father passed away, and also the mother, these 10 were grief-stricken. They conversed among themselves. What is really desirable in this world? What's the goal that must be attained? Even the post of Indrahood is perishable and not worth desiring. What then should we work for? The eldest brother said in a convincing voice, I think that the attainment of Brahmahood is the ideal goal worth striving for. Oh, brothers. It seems like a very strange proposal. Realize. When you begin spirituality, study Vedanta, even in the very beginning stage you are told that what is desirable for you in life is to realize I am Brahman. Here, the idea that let's plan to be Brahma is not any different. Rather, it is just a stepping stone towards Brahman. Brahma implies realization that all this world, you are called Virat consciousness. You are not individual. If you think that you are a wave, allow your mind to develop a different level. If you are a wave, then you are the ocean also. If you have that type of mental expansion, then you have become Brahma. It's Brahmahood. But I'm giving you the deeper meaning, but let's go through the story. So now then, they all began to meditate upon, I am the divine creator. The Vedantic practice is process of affirmation. The idea, I am the body, your mind has practiced it for a long time. And therefore, you view your body as your reality. Allow your mind to shift its angle. Understand, body is not you. You are Brahman. But then, this is a big jump. Mind has to be helped by presenting small steps. First series of steps, practice affirmation for developing good qualities. Find yourself subject to anger, hate, conceit, etc. Recognize them as maladies, and in order to remove those maladies, allow your mind to make an affirmation. Calm your mind, and in a calm mind, take a positive picture of yourself. And that's called affirmation. Let me give you more details. So, say for example, you want to overcome irritable nature of yours, anger. Adopt mantra of 3S. What does that mean? Suppression, substitution, sublimation. The moment you see that a situation has come and your anger is coming up, but it's distant. Anger is coming. You already saw through the window. Soon the anger will start knocking at your door. Don't open the door. That's called suppression. Move away from it. And don't open the door. Don't act according to your anger. Don't move into it. Sit back. Go to your refrigerator. Find something cool, drink. If possible, put some cool ice on your head. And go into a little more grown-up state. Sit relaxed and ask yourself, should I degrade myself by being angry? Shouldn't I understand what's the situation? Why is this person is creating trouble for me? What is his trouble? Probably thorn has entered his foot. Etc., etc. But not going into too much details, if you are trying to overcome the habit of being angry, then each time you meditate, allow your mind to assert, instead of looking back, oh, I have been angry all the time. What can I do about it? I practiced 7 years sadhana and still anger is coming up. Instead of doing that, calm your mind and develop a kind of artistic imagery. I am made in the image of God. Buddha shines in my heart. Jesus shines in my heart. How wonderful, I have no anger. I send out my loving goodwill for all. Sarve bhavantu. That's called substitution. If you continue with this, without going into the memory of the past, suddenly we'll find your anger has simply moved away. That's called sublimation. One important point, positive is your reality. Negative, you have created it by your karma. Things that you create by your karma are like, suppose you are looking at a tree. You can have two types of flowers in the tree. Flowers you buy from the stores, artificial flowers, and put them on the tree. So all the negative qualities are artificial things. They are not your reality. All that you have to do is not to go after those flowers. In other words, let the flowers drop away. All artificiality requires effort. Anything artificial you have done, you have to do some karma, some effort to remove it. But the virtues within you, they are not artificial. Automatically they will blossom. It's an important point to understand. Otherwise, people have double trouble. One, remove the anger. Another, plant love. All that you do is to let the anger be sublimated by your positive affirmation. In the beginning, your affirmation seems like your imagination, but it is not imagination. A positive imagination is really moving towards the truth. If you hold on to it and begin to work, the positivity is your nature. Negativity is created by your limited mind. Light, joy, that's your essential nature. Now, this is illustrated in a very different way. Each one started practicing an affirmation. I am Brahma, the creator. I am the deity who is worshipped by all living beings. I am accompanied by Goddess Saraswati, Goddess Gayatri, and other goddesses. I am praised by sages and saints. This entire world exists within me. Like the rising and falling of waves, numerous living beings proceed from me and are drawn back into me. I am the God of gods. I am the creator. This is a very advanced sample for affirmation. But must realize Hindu culture presents this type of technique in every stage of your life. Just to give you a Queen Madalasa was a great enlightened personality. And when children were born, when a child is born of her, she sings a cradle song. Shuddhosi buddhosi niranjanosi sansara maya parivarjitosi, which means, oh baby, you are absolutely pure. You are enlightened. You are free of the taints, all the limitations of the world. All this is done without questioning. You don't question. How can the baby hear that? Isn't that a stupid thing to do? No. Because human beings are not gaining knowledge just through brain. There's prenatal education. Babies begin to draw from mother's source certain special spiritual touch. And that doesn't come within the ordinary scope of study. And yet that's most profound. How does the baby begin to live from the very beginning, even within the body of the mother? So what I'm implying, that affirmations, positive affirmations, should be directed towards every stage to the babies as they grow up and they do something negative. You should have an art not to make the person feel so miserable and degraded that he has no strength to do anything else, but rather a loving way of reminding, oh, you are such a great person, and your face is shining, but one tooth of yours is broken. So just repair it. I'm joking. Create a loving environment and lead people to discover their positive strength. Not a scolding atmosphere. Then even the very little good qualities they have, they will lose it. Though you will think it's the only rational thing to do. Figure that out. But all this is done with a good heart. And good-hearted movement has a divine touch. So you automatically, spontaneously, you adopt a subtle art of influencing people to awaken their goodness in them. That has been the basis of all sages and saints. Their teachings in those days, we didn't go into Google, etc. And yet, their teachings touch the heart of countless people. And with this, I'm going to conclude. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.